Lastly, we would like to demonstrate the stat splint. This is a new splint system allowing the application of a custom-formed rigid emergency splint in the field in minutes. It can be used to immobilize minor skeletal and soft tissue injuries in the distal limb. The materials needed follow. The stat splint can be purchased alone or as part of the stat splint kit. The kit includes the materials needed to treat, bandage, and immobilize injuries in the field. For this demonstration, we will be using one 4-inch by 30-inch stat splint, two 4-inch by 10-foot ReWrap bandages, a bottle of water to moisten the splint, and one pair of bandage scissors. The splint is applied as follows. Wrap the area to be splinted with a 4-inch ReWrap bandage to protect the surface of the leg. The splint can be applied with or without additional padding due to its own padded surface. Open the foil pack by cutting with scissors and remove the flexible splint. If the whole splint isn't needed, cut the length you need with scissors and quickly replace the remaining portion in the bag and seal it. If you cut the splint, pull a soft covering over the cut end of the inner material. The soft padded material prevents rubbing and pressure from the rigid splint. Pour or sprinkle a moderate amount of water down the middle of the splint, holding it parallel to the ground. A large amount of water is not needed. Don't soak it. Squeeze or wring out excess water and smooth the splint. Working as quickly as possible, position the splint and press it in place. Wrap a ReWrap bandage starting at the middle of the splint to the bottom and back to the top of the splint, using enough tension to snug it against the leg. The patient must stand quietly for a few minutes while the splint sets up. If need be, hold the leg off the ground to stabilize it. If the patient is too fractious, even with sedation, the splint can be removed after 3 to 5 minutes and set aside to set up. The splint will set more rapidly on warm, dry days. If greater strength and rigidity are needed, a second splint layer can be applied, or 2 layers can be applied at the same time. Here we used a 30-inch splint folded in half as it comes in the package. If the splint has been removed, to allow it to set up, simply press it back in place and reapply the ReWrap bandage as before.